They have no more wine.
What wilt thou have me to do for thee, that will I do. For mine hour is not yet come.
Whatsoever he saith unto you, see that ye do it.
Gather the water vessels and fill them.
Fill them.
With water. And bear unto the governor of the feast.
This is the first wedding feast I have ever attended, where the best of the wine has been saved for last.
You know, this is coming out of John 2, down to about the 12th verse. And I just want to read a little bit because you know you get some you get a little theater in it, but it's good to have what the word says, and then because I'm going to come back to what this says, and we're not going to pretty much remember what the you know how they acted, what their roles were, and the words they said out of their words. But I want to tie back to this, and this is on the third day there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus also was invited to the wedding with his disciples. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them to the brim. And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted, the water now became wine, and it did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. The master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and when the people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now." This is the first of his signs Jesus did in Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they stayed there for a few days. Yeah, beloved, this is good. I want to take a different twist. And, you know, typically you'll think the focus is on the wine, and it is. It's on what Christ did. But, you know, what really drew me was that Christ was like, hey, man, this wedding had nothing to do with Christ's divine mission. It had nothing to do with his mission. Why he actually came down here to earth and to solve. And the fact when Mary told him that the wine had ran out, you can see that this is true based off of how he responded. He said, "Woman, this don't have anything to do with me." In fact, he said, my time has not yet come, meaning I'm not ready. He wasn't ready for his ministry to go public, or for his power to go public yet. But yet, Mary, she was so rooted in faith in her experience, she turned to her servants and said, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." See that right there? That statement, man, it got me. It stuck me. That statement stuck me. Because to me, it sounded like she was speaking from a place of experience, that she had been around him long enough to be able to communicate to the servants, hey, whatever he tells you, I've been around him long enough that it's possible that he may say something, or he may tell you to do something that may not make sense. It is possible that he may give you an instruction that it might not be illogical and may make you uncomfortable in doing it. But he says, I'm gonna need you to lean in there and do it anyway. Her instruction to the servants, to me, that really stood out. And it made me think about some things when it comes down to me and it comes down to us. If the Lord really told you exactly what he wanted you to do to turn your situation around, beloved, would you do it? If a man or woman of God came up to you and told you that, and got wind of your situation and got wind of what you was going through, got wind of how you was and what your situation was, and came up, told you something like, won't you just go on a fast and pray and worship? Even though in your mind, I don't understand how can that possibly fix my problem. I don't understand what you're saying to me, how that's going to get me out of my situation, and how that's going to be the fix for what I'm particularly, or in this particular space and time, what I am dealing with. Beloved, if they came out and whispered something of faith, beloved, would you do it? Would you do it? And I thought about the servants. I wanted to look at this from a few lenses. It's easy from the surface to say, yeah, Jesus held wine, and this. Man, I wanted to look at this from Mary's perspective, and I wanted to see this from the servant's perspective. And I thought about, man, from the servant side of things, man, the weight is not on them if they run out of wine. It's not their problem. It's not their weight to carry. That belongs to the host. It's the host's problem if that wine runs out. However, the servants, though, I'm sure they was kind of nervous because they knew what they put in that wine jar. And they had to go and present this as if it's wine, knowing what they put in that jar. And they had to present it to the guests and to the master. They had to present it to the master of the ceremonies. And in his mind, he's thinking he's about to get wine, and they knew what they put in that jar. But what carried to me, beloved, was that they did it knowing what they put in the jar, yet they were still obedient. And God took their obedience and turned it into something miraculous. So what I got out of this, man, and how it would begin to speak to me in this space was, beloved, there are some things that come through blind obedience. There are some blessings, beloved, that come on blind obedience. You don't have all the details. You don't have all the ceramics, but yet God is calling you to take your obedience and take just enough of what you have, enough of what you know, and mix that with faith, for he can unlock with the divine transformation. And there are just some things God is asking us that he says, is there some things that he's asking you to do that you haven't put in the faith jar yet? Is there something, when you think about the thing that I'm asking God to do, when I think about the thing that I'm asking God to change, when I think about the circumstance that I'm asking God to turn around, is there an instruction that God has asked you to do, and you looked at that and you haven't done it yet? Because it didn't look like that was going to be the thing to turn it around. And he wants me to ask you, if he told you that, if he really told you what he really wanted you to do, beloved, would you do it? There are some things that come, beloved, through blind obedience. And we've seen this before. We've seen this with Abraham. We've seen this thing with Abraham. Abraham was called to leave his family. God, first time he introduced himself to Abraham, he's telling him to leave his family and to go to a place that he's going to show him. Now listen to this. He says, Hebrews 11:8 says, by faith, when he was called, he obeyed and went to a place he was going to receive as an inheritance. He went out not knowing where he was going. Sometimes blind faith, beloved, is the ask. In Psalms 37 and 23, it says, the steps of the righteous man are ordered by the Lord, and his delight is in his way. Now, I'm going to tell you that. There are some things and there are some seasons, beloved, you'll find. And there are some people in this room that can just going to shake their head like this. There are some times that God orders your steps to a place and you're like, God, how did I get here? Why am I going through this? Why am I in this situation? How do I deserve this? How did I get here? And you're praying and it feels like, man, are you even hearing me? I'm praying because I'm afflicted, but there's no change. And it feels like, man, God is not hearing my prayer. And it feels like God has abandoned me. And he says, listen, but here's the thing he's trying to get you to see. Ready? He's trying to test the faith that walks without sight. And sometimes we don't know that sometimes blind faith is the ask. It's the very thing that God is asking you to do. Abraham left, beloved, no destination, no map, no explanation. But he did. He left. And he didn't let the lack of information paralyze his obedience. How many of us ever did not move, or we didn't make a step in faith, or we were paralyzed and stressing because we didn't have enough information, and we're thinking like, man, God, why am I here? Why am I going there? How do I end up in this situation? Why my situation hasn't changed? God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but you still haven't made the move of faith. And here, Abraham did this a few times. Abraham didn't let the lack of details paralyze him in his obedience, but he stepped out trusting that God who called him would be faithful enough to lead him. What am I saying, beloved? The steps of the righteous man is ordered. Remember when I started this off, I said, man, God knows exactly where you are. That this turn, this space that you at right now, this affliction that you're going through right now, this thing that you've been praying and asking God to change, beloved, God hasn't forgotten you, and God knows exactly where you are. However, sometimes blind faith is the ask. And sometimes he's asking us to do the faith activity that's in that situation. Well, okay, what is the faith activity? If I'm asking God to change my relational, if I'm asking God to change my financial, if I'm asking God to get me out of this situation because I'm still afflicted because I still haven't got healed yet, what is the faith ask? What is the thing he's asking me to do? Beloved, what if the faith ask is just trust me and worship? What if the faith asks is to keep your head up and still continue moving forward in faith? What is the faith? When you think about, when we stop and pause right here for this second, and you begin to think, because we all have something that we're saying, man, God, why am I here? Man, I was asking this question, bro. Trust me. That's why I told you when I got here, I was like, I remember recently, I'm like, man, God, why am I here? Did I miss you? Did I step out and miss you? How am I still in this same situation? Why am I still? Did I miss you here? And you're like, and it's silent. And you're like, okay, what is the ask? What is God calling me to be in this situation? What is the call? What is the faith action that he's calling for me, beloved, in this situation? Because if I give the thing that he's asking me to do, beloved, perhaps that's the very thing that is required to transform my situation. What is the faith ask? So sometimes, beloved, listen, the deeper truth today is, but the blind faith that asks, will you still move even when you don't see the full picture? Even if you don't see, God, I don't understand how you're going to turn water into wine in this situation. I don't get the science on how you're going to change my situation. I don't see, when I look at my outward, I do not see how this turns into that. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand how my praying and me staying consistent and I'm doing this, how that's going to make this person do. I don't understand how me still being faithful in this scenario and I'm still doing the same thing at my job. They still haven't recognized. They still haven't. I don't understand how this is going to turn into. Come on, somebody. We all have something that we've been asking God, saying, I don't see how this turns into that. And God is saying, there's a blind ask I'm asking you for. What is the blind ask? You know, listen to this. When you think about this, even the situation of water turning to wine, man, look at Job. Look at Job. What was the blind ask? Who would have thought? Do you think Satan counted? If Satan was a betting man that day, he would have betted 1,000 to 1 that I got him. When I caused his children to be gone, I caused him to lose everything he had. Satan, if he was a betting man that day, man, he would have said, I bet he falls. He wouldn't have guessed that the faith acts was, man, naked I came in this world and naked I go out. Blessed be the name. He wouldn't have betted that in return, he would have got a worship experience, that Job issued a worship experience. Beloved, what is the faith activity that God is asking you to do in your situation? For that situation, for Canaan, the faith ask was, bring me water. And the serpents, this is why I showed the video, because the video kind of helps add some color. Like you can read it and you can draw, you can kind of picture it. But when you see a video, you can actually like frame it. And you have to put yourself in the situation of the servants. Wait a minute, they asking for wine, but you want me to fill this thing with water? I'm asking you to change this, but you want me to, this person mistreating me this way, but you want me to turn around and treat them with love? They dogging me out, but you want me to return that with what? More love? I'm being mistreated at work, but you still want me to stay here? I'm asking God, can you get me somewhere else? But you still haven't ordered my steps. So I'm going to stay in this situation, God, even though and you still asking me to show up and be what? Salt and light? You still asking me to show up and still give the same. The thing, what is the thing that God is asked you to bring to put into the jar? Listen to what I'm saying. What is the thing, when you think about your situation, what is the faith thing that God is asking you to put in a jar and fill this with this and give it to me? Because beloved, whatever he's asking you to do, even though it may sound preposterous, even though in your mind it might seem like this is not the thing that's going to fix my situation, what is the thing he's asking you to do? Because whatever that thing is, beloved, like Mary said, whatever he tells you to do it. Beloved, if it's fasting, beloved, fast. If it's laying hands on my spouse, if it's praying in my workspace, if it's what is the faith ask that he's asking for you to do in your situation? Because beloved, whatever he tells you to do, like Mary, beloved, do it. Let's go a little farther. I want to give you something, 2 scriptures that really spoke to me. Isaiah 26:3, it says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength. Beloved, this is a trust issue. God, if you find yourself in a space where it feels like, man, like I'm still here and I feel like I'm in the wilderness, like God is stretching your trust, he's growing your trust. In a space when you feel like I've been in this same thing for a little while, God, I'm still here. Why has my situation changed? He says, man, I will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because do you trust him? See, it's easy to say, man, we trust God, man. When the money and everything is good, man, our trust is always at an all-time high. But that's not the test. It's when we in our situation that we're in, and you're like, man, I'm going through it, but I trust you. I'm sending my prayer request up for relief, and it hasn't came yet, but our trust is on its way. And because I trust you, I'm not leaving. See, when trust gets hurt, when trust gets injured, you know what falls? Your prayer. You know what falls? Your position, your approach. Something else takes that place. I went through a season, man, when I was just like this, man. I was going through it. I would never forget it. I walked away. Listen, I can talk to you about this. I walked away from the Lord for like 5 years, man. And because I didn't Isaiah 26 and 3 it. I walked away because in my situation, I didn't believe he was going to change it. I had been praying and praying. Listen, I had no idea I was going to talk about this. I was praying for God to change my marriage, my first marriage. I was praying for him to change it. And I everything that I did, everything that I tried, it didn't work. So instead of me staying in, beloved, I walked away. Not the fact that he wasn't going to provide a way. Listen, I'm being honest with you. Everybody ain't going to be real like this, man. I'm telling you, if I had did it his way, things would have turned out differently. If I had did it his way, the injury wouldn't have been as severe. I wouldn't suffer as much. I'm just being honest. I'm going to be 100 with you. I walked away from the Lord and I went in these streets because I was hurt. See, when you hurt and you don't bring it to the right place, listen to me. This is why this forum is so important. This is why being in places of faith is so important, where you're around the people of faith. And I didn't have that at that time. I believe if I was in the right spot, in the right space, man, and with the right people, man, it would have helped me. But I lost trust. And because I lost trust, I moved. This word is here because the enemy wants you to move. The enemy wants you to take things in your own hands. Some of this is relational. Some of this is financial. Some of this is personal. Some of this is professional. I'm tired of this person. I'm tired of this job being treated. I'm tired of this relationship. I'm tired, and we're weary. And the enemy wants to wear us out. Oh, listen, the enemy wants to wear us out. What he's wearing out is our trust. Because the enemy wants to paint in your mind, like he did mine, that there's not going to be a change for you. The enemy wants to paint in your mind that, listen, you're getting old. You're getting old. Is this going to be the life for you? This is what he told me. Oh, listen, he was counting my years in front of me. He said, man, all of your 20s, you've been going through this. All of your 30s, you've been going through this. He said, is this what you want? Is this your lot in life? Amen. If this your lot in life, and I lost my trust, you know why I lost my trust? Because I didn't have a revelation on Psalms. Listen, ready this? The Psalms. Move this out the way. Get on out the way. 37 and 23. That the steps of the righteous man is ordered by the Lord, and he delights in this way. I didn't have a full revelation of that. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm here because I made these decisions. I'm here because I did something, and this is punishment. Not knowing, man, that, man, the steps of the Lord is right. He's ordered. There are some things that God is changing and working out in you. There are some things that only come by you being in this situation, and you're growing. He's growing his dependence, your dependency on him. And there's no other way for you to grow in your dependency in the way that you need to have it, but to be in a situation like this where your emotions are challenged, where your mental is challenged, where your environment is challenged, because God says, I am your refuge. David says that God is my refuge. He's my He's the peace that I run to. He's my refuge. But see, if we won't know that he can be our refuge until our environment has been challenged and I need a place where I can run to find peace, to find restoration. I ran to the streets to find it. Found more drama. I ran to the club to find it. I found more drama. I ran to alcohol a little bit. It didn't work for me. What are you running to? The enemy wants to give us a default. He wants to give us another option to replace the Lord in our trust. And Jeremiah 17 and 7-8 says that blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters and spreading out her roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Jeremiah said. So God is saying, listen, if you trust in me, stay with me. Stay with me. You ain't gonna lose. If you stay planted, you ain't gonna lose. I know what it looks like. Listen, he says, even though the heat comes, when the heat comes, but her leaf shall still be what? Green. He said, this is when we start. We don't know what God is. Anybody's ever been kept in a storm? Has God ever kept you in it might have been, you might, listen. It might just be like it might just been a time when you said, God, I'm going to trust you and I'm going to give this to you right here. And he gave you a breakthrough in peace in that moment. And you was able to make it through that day. You was able to make it through that week. You was able to make it through that month. And it brought you to a stable place. And you was able to refrain back and said, man, God. And God is saying, I did that for you because I need you to know that it's in these moments you can trust me. It's in these moments that when the world is going crazy, you have a place. When the world is losing their mind, you have a refuge. When the world is about to lose everything they got and it's about to go off the bridge, you can be in peace. Listen, that's why these trials are so important. That's why these little small trials, God is going to use He's going to use what we have around us to train us in righteousness. He's going to use what he got around us to show his glory. What was the thing that God used to show his glory? He turned that water to wine. He's going to use your situation to show his glory. There's a reason why you ain't out of it yet. Let's play with this a little bit. You know who he is. You knowing who Jesus is. You don't think he knew they was running short on wine before Mary brought it to her? You knowing who he is, you don't think he knew that, man, they're about 2 jars short, man. Let me go ahead and help them out. They don't never have to be at lack. They not, matter of fact, as long as I'm here, they not even gonna know they're gonna run out. I'm gonna just zoop, zoop, zoop. Just keep filling the line, just keep filling it up. And they just keep going back. They think they have more. See, you don't realize that that's what I'm saying. Take who you know about him and take and just play with that idea. Man, God, you already knew that was running out. You already knew that was short. But he waited till the need came to him. He waited. See, he's gonna wait. He says he's gonna wait till you break. He knows where you are. But when you on empty, that's where I'm just getting started. When you run, you ain't empty yet. When you ready, he said, that's where I'm just getting started. I'm just getting warmed up. He was asleep on the boat, beloved, in the middle of the storm, and the disciples was losing their mind. And he was taking a nap, beloved. And he was teaching them, do you know who you got on the boat? Sometimes God, isn't it typical? I'm about to play. We about to tap this a little bit. Because I need you to understand this about the Lord you serve. So it's typical. You knew they was running out of wine, and you didn't step in and do something about it before that? Okay. You knew Lazarus was sick. You knew he was sick even before the message came. You knew he was going through it. The message came and said, Jesus, the Lazarus, the one that you loveth, he is sick and he's begging you to come. Yeah, okay. And he kept going and kept preaching, and then he gets the word that he died. And he waited, 3 more days before he... Is it typical? The God we serve, isn't it kind of typical for him to wait to the last minute sometimes to show up? But it's not really because of him. He's outside of time, so it's never a last minute because he operates outside of time and he controls time, he creates time. So he's never late to a party. So in our minds, we think, man, God, I need you to step in here. And God is like, no, man, you can stay in there a little bit longer. It's typical for him. If you're going through a situation and he hasn't brought you out yet, I need you to exercise what you know about him. And I need you to have that conversation. God, it's typical for you to wait. If you haven't showed up, that doesn't mean you ain't going to show up. If you haven't showed up, that doesn't mean you've forgotten me. If you haven't came through, that doesn't mean that you haven't heard my prayer. Sometimes God is just waiting for you to say, God, I trust you. Not, God, I'm tired. He's waiting for us to say in faith, though you slay me, yet I will trust you. Though I'm going through this situation, though I wish I shouldn't be here, God, I'm uncomfortable, I trust you. Paul wrote majority of the New Testament, beloved, in prison. In prison. In chains. It was in Philippians is where he wrote, man, be content with everything, and when think on these things, right? Whatever's pleasant, whatever's lovely. He was saying that, he wrote that, beloved. Why in prison? Why? How could he write something like that? How can he be in that position, in that spirit, beloved? He had to have a revelation of, God, wherever I am, you know exactly where I am. And you know where I'm at. I'm going to rock out in this situation. I'm going to rock out on the boat with you. I'm going to be in faith. I'm going to stay in faith. I'm going to worship in faith. I'm going to keep my head up. I'm going to stay as if this is my new norm, and this is but my faith is not going to waver. God is saying, I just want to hear from you that you trust me. Beloved, do you trust him? Do you trust him? I'm still here. I'm still going through it. I'm afflicted, but I trust you. I trust you. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to come out of this. I don't know when I'm going to come out of this. Right where I am, I trust you. And a wise mentor of mine, Miss Harris, she would say this all the time: trust him and trust him some more. Shout out to Miss Harris. Trust him and trust him some more. And listen, this is the second time this is coming out. Because our last Bible study, I remember this saying the same thing. Where it's just sometimes you got to tell your storm, right? Remember we was talking about that? And you got to speak and say, man, speak and say, man, I know who my God is. Wherever I'm at, God, I trust you. And the fruit of that, I'm not going to walk around with an attitude. I'm not going to walk around with and my family is getting the energy because of where I'm at. So I'm bringing it home. Like, nah, man, wherever I'm at, God, you have me there. I trust you. I'm going to let the fruit of the Spirit reflect that I trust you by operating in love, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, meekness. I'm going to let that fruit flow. See, that's the thing that God wants to develop. He don't want those fruit to be on display only when things are good. He don't want those fruit to only be on the table when my situation is sunny. He wants to develop us so that fruit is on display all the time. Anybody want their fruit on display all the time? Does anybody want to say that, God, when folks look at you and they look at you and they say, man, I didn't know, if you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known you was going through that. You sick? But yet, every time I see you, you're smiling. Every time I see you, you got a encouraging word. Every time I see you, that's when you got something greater on the inside. Because why? I'm able to function this way because I trust him. I trust him with my situation. Ready? God, I trust you with my life. You know, I didn't know this was going to fit here. I actually thought this part was going to be a different part, a lesson, man. And I still think it is. You know the part that gets us? Right here. You know the part that gets us? It's the affliction. It's the hurt. It's the uncomfortableness. That's the part that gets us. I don't want to be here. How long do I have to be here? How long do I got to deal with this? It's not fair that I'm dealing with this. God, why me? How come it's everybody else is getting this? Why? Beloved, the affliction. And God is calling us to look at that from a different lens. He's calling us to look at that from a totally different lens. Because in our affliction, man, God is doing the most work in us. And this is when he says, this is when this comes to fruition. You ready? The one who started a good work in you is faithful to complete it to the day of Jesus Christ. So if God is the Alpha, he's the Alpha and Omega. He's the one that started your faith. Do you think he's leaving you right where you are? And he's calling us to lean in those periods of listen. Well, I'm getting this. You think you getting this first? Man, I got this first. There are days I'm like, man, Krishna, I had some days at work. I'm just like, man, God, why? Why? I need another job. I need to look for something else. I need to. God, why me? Like, why am I seem like I'm the one on the? And I'm telling you, I'm giving this to you, you know he can. This dude right here, this guy, and I had to eat this too, and I had to lean in and just said, God, I'm leaning in. I'm gonna lean in because I know you didn't drop me off. You steered me right where I'm at. That means there's something that you're developing in me. And I begin to think through like, man, since I've been there, man, this has changed. I got a revelation about the things this history about me. All this stuff came from me being in this place. When you think about your affliction, when you think about your challenge, what new thing have you learned about God? What new thing have you learned about you through this? See, a lot of this is about learning about who you really are. Not the you that we bring in front of people, but the you that's you when nobody else is looking. And that's the part that I want. Like that's really good information. This is not the part where I'm poking like, well, you're supposed to be a Christian. No. This is the part where you look at you and you say, man, God, I really don't feel like I'm a real good Christian today. This is the part where I really don't feel like I'm really believing you like I should be believing you today. This is the part where you take that information and you say, well, if I'm not treating people the right way, if I don't feel, then that means that there's a problem with my trust. So then I need to go back and recenter and say, what do you really believe about this? What do I really believe? And then that's how you begin to say, I believe. I believe. If you raise Lazarus, you have no problem with this. But even if you don't do it, God, I'm good. I'm going in that fire. I pull a 3 Hebrew boys scenario out of my pocket. See, it's the affliction. It's that the enemy wants to punk us and give us a scare tactic with the affliction. But the way you turn that around is by pulling a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and say, man, my God is able to take me out of this. My God is able to transform my situation. But even if he don't do it, I still trust him with my life. Do anybody trust God with their life? I'm talking about really trust him. Where the type of trust where you're just like Shadrach, where they're saying, I'm going in this fire. I'm going in. I'm going in. The type of trust is, I'm about to fill this thing up with water and give it to him. Blind faith. I know what they're expecting, but I'm pouring water and I'm giving blind faith. Do we trust him? Beloved, blindly. I'm going into my work job and I'm going to give him the best and I'm going to act the best. I'm going into my relationship and I'm going to be the best. I'm going to give him the best. I'm going into my because I trust him. Because I trust him. And even if it doesn't have the desired outcome, I have the outcome that he ordered from heaven and I'm good with it. That's when you say, I trust you. God is trying to grow our faith like Abraham, man. Listen to this. Ready? I told you you've seen this before. God told Abraham to sacrifice his only son. Y'all know that. You ready for this? Abraham ain't say a word back. Abraham never said, God, why? Abraham never asked for any explanation. Abraham never asked for any details. That's where God is trying to get us to. They ain't gonna talk. They're not teaching this. Listen to what I'm telling you. There is a trajectory to our faith. God is God is growing our faith. There is a destination. There's a growth point that God is trying to get us to. It's not just for us to be here in our faith. God is trying to grow our faith to a growth point. What is that growth point? Man, wherever you are, I wanted you there. Whatever you're going through, I sanctioned that. Whatever you see, I green lighted that. Stay in faith. Whatever you're going through, I ordered your steps there. And he's trying to grow our faith like Abraham to say, I don't need an explanation. I don't need an explanation. I trust you like that. If things go if things go back, turned up backwards and go bad on me, if things go batty on me, I don't need an explanation. I trust you like that. If you asking me to stay in my situation, see, I'm about to, man, you don't even know what I'm about to. This was my problem. This is why I left, because I didn't want to go through the affliction. I'm like, God, I'm 20 something. All of my 20s, I've been in this thing. And God, I haven't had a good relationship. And I want to be, and I don't want this, and sex, and she don't want to, and can we talk? And because of that, I'm like, then you're looking at your clock, you're like, man, I don't want to be 50 years old still in this. I don't want to be, and you start looking at your own life, and you got admirations, you got dreams for your own life, you got things that when you see in other people, and you're looking at other folks' lives, you be like, man, why can't that be me? Why can I have that relationship? Why can I have that profession? And because of that, you're like, man, I don't want that to be my situation. We've been learning some stuff in this gospel. Wasn't we just talking about, what was the lady name in Matthew's? Was it just in Mark? And she was a widow woman. And she was a widow woman since the age of 21. And for 84 consecutive years, she just stayed in worship. She didn't seek out another husband. She stayed in that situation. There you go, Anna. And I'm like,
Anna,
and you,
for 84
oh yeah,
years.
84 years. And she stayed. And the thing that gets us is that our plans clashes with God's plans. When our plans clashes with God's plans, God, sometimes we move. Isn't that what happened in the Garden of Gethsemane? In the Garden of Gethsemane, the flesh was like, man, that ain't my plan. I'm not trying to go to the cross. God, now I don't want to do this. Not as I will, but what your will. When our will clashes with the will of God, when my dreams and admirations crash, and God is saying, do you trust me with your life? Even if I order you there for a season, or even if I say, man, this is your lot, do you trust me? Do you trust me? And it just, when I'm talking about this, I'm just thinking about, man, I'm thinking about the disciples. Do you remember when Peter was like, God, what about me? Jesus, what about me? Right? And he told John, John's going to live forever. He was like, man, what about me? He was like, what about you? He said, you do what I called you to do. John had something else going for him. And Peter was like, okay, Lord, what about me? Like, he said, man, he said, your lot is for you. Like, beloved, they went on and they trusted him with their life, even though they knew that they was gonna pay with their life for it. And God is trying to get us to the point to where we say, God, and the reason why, beloved, is because, man, overseas, it's costing them their lives for this gospel. They're getting the hold of the gospel that they're getting a hold of, beloved, is causing them to say, I trust you. I'm about to be marched out on this beach, threatened to either deny you or get my head cut off. I trust you. Were there fathers? Beloved, there were fathers out there. Did they have dreams to grow their boys? And yeah, they had dreams to father their sons and their daughters. Yeah, they had a bucket list to do some things in life. But beloved, they cashed that all in. And they said, man, I trust you. God is trying to grow our faith to the point to saying, no matter what my situation is, man, God, I trust you. Here's the other thing. We almost out of here. Beloved, do you believe that he would do it just for you? Why am I talking about this? I said already earlier that, man, that banquet had nothing to do with the mission of Christ. Had nothing to do with it. Had nothing to do with his earthly mission. But beloved, because Mary asked, he moved anyway. He resolved the problem, beloved, not out of obligation. It was straight relational. Do you hear me? This is the part that's about to get you. This part. This part. He moved, beloved, because of relational. Do you believe that God will show up just for you? Because it just marveled me. He said, beloved, he told us, woman, what does that have to do with me? He never said yes. He didn't say yes. He said, what does that have to do with me? My hour haven't came. That don't sound like a yes to me. That don't seem like he's on board with doing anything about it. And she turns to those servants and says, whatever he tells you to do, you do it. Beloved, do you believe that he'll do it just for you? Do you know that there are businesses? I want you to hear something. That there are businesses and companies. They are profit. They're profit. Departments profit. Sections profit. And they benefit because you're there. I'm going to say that one more time. For the folks in the back. Do you know that there are the businesses that you're at, the relationships that you're in, friend relationships, groups, businesses, partnerships? Do you know they benefit and they flourish, beloved? Because you're there. Because the blessing is attached, beloved. Because you're there. A lot of it, your section is doing well. Your people are growing. Things are going well. It may be going well in other places, but your particular function is going well. Your people is doing well. Like God is blessing your people and the blessing of the Lord is upon that section, beloved, because you're there. Beloved, make no mistake about it. That wedding banquet goes belly up if Mary doesn't get involved. Beloved, make no mistake about it. That wedding banquet, it goes belly up and goes south if Mary doesn't get involved. Did you catch that? If Mary doesn't get involved here, beloved, that whole wedding thing goes. Beloved, we've seen this before. What I'm talking to you about, beloved, we've seen this before. See, it was Joseph, Potiphar. He benefited from Joseph. Genesis 39:5. Potiphar, because Joseph was there. Oh, his house, he was benefiting. The blessing was on Potiphar's house because of Joseph's presence. Ready for this? Jacob. Laban knew the blessing was on Jacob. Ready for this? Because he was there. Genesis 30:27 said Laban knew the faith. It says this, right? It says, I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for thy sake. Because of Jacob said, you don't realize, beloved, that because of your presence, the blessing that's on you, beloved, it benefits other people. It benefits other businesses. Because of it's good to have a Christian around. You don't even know that. You're good for business. You don't even know you're good for relationships. You don't even know. If Mary doesn't go to, listen, if Mary does not attend this wedding, do you still know they run out of wine? If Mary and them doesn't show up to this wedding, do you still know they still run out of wine, right? But because Mary's there, and Mary says, Christ, I need you to do something. They're about to run out of wine. They benefited for her being there. Beloved, listen, do you believe that he'll do it for you? The thing that you're asking God for. Some of us are standing in the gap and we're praying for God to change families, change relational dynamics, change financial dynamics, change. We are interceding and we're carrying the burdens of other folks. And God is saying, yeah, just like Mary. Do you believe he'll do it just for you? God is saying, man, there are some things I'll do. You understand? Do you know what you're reading? Do you know why this is here? This whole wine thing, it's not just about Jesus changing this thing to wine. This thing is about, do you know I'll do it? I will do it for you. When I put you in a space and things are happening, do you know I will show up and help change that outcome? I would help show up in a relationship, in a marriage. Somebody called. Do you know I would help and I would intercede and I would help bring change to that scenario, but not because of they there, because you're there. Do you know why this is here? Listen, because of you, there are going to be people that's going to say, if you weren't here, if you didn't come, if you didn't help, if you didn't say something, if you didn't pray for me, if you didn't call, I wouldn't have made it. You don't know how important you are. You're missing this. For so long, you thought that the center point, yes, is on Christ. But what you're missing is the part you play because of Christ's connection with you. If Mary does not get involved and doesn't get the Christ involved, he said, listen, woman, my time haven't even come yet. I'm not ready to go public. But because you asked me, but because of you, I'll do it for you. Beloved, there are people that are going to benefit because of you. Because of your relationship. Ready? Because of your faith. Because of your revelation. Because of your experience with God. There are people, you are, do you think it was an accident that Mary was at the wedding? I already told you Psalms 37 and 3, what? That the steps of the righteous is ordered by God. It was never an accident that she was there. It is not an accident that you are where you are. It is not an accident that you are in a connection of people that you are connected with. It is not an accident that you're with you in the same the friend groups that you have. It is not an accident that you're in the workspace that you have. It's not an accident that you're in the neighborhood. Everything is intentional and there's a God design behind it. And he's saying that there are people that are around you that are waiting for you to use your faith like Mary did. Mary saw that problem and she used her faith. She said, whoa. She didn't try to go out and buy more wine. She went to the winemaker. She went to the creator. Hey, there's a problem. You are embedded in spaces. You are embedded, your family, like you are the one that's supposed to inject those changes. You are the one that's supposed to say, I know someone. You're the one that's supposed to get on your prayer line and say, when nobody else has an answer, you're the one that's supposed to get on your prayer line and say, I have an answer. I have someone. I know someone that'll do it. I know someone that has a connection. I know someone. And beloved, because of that, there are folks on this line right now that if you weren't there, if you didn't come, if you didn't help, if you didn't say something, if you didn't pray, if you didn't call, I wouldn't have made it. There are times, man, like I wouldn't have made it. Even, I'm being honest, like God put people in my life, man, like this brother Christian right here, man, like, and he used his faith when mine was wounded to speak faith to me. And if he weren't there, if he didn't say something, if he didn't help, if he didn't pray, if he didn't call, I wouldn't have made it. You don't know how important you are. You don't know how important your faith connection with God is to the world. You are so important. You are to your family. You are so important. This is why when God hasn't moved you, it's because you have a greater importance in the space that you're at. If God hasn't shifted you and changed your zip code, it's because you are needed. You are vital to that space. Because somebody's going to say to you, if you didn't come, if you didn't say something, if you didn't pray, I wouldn't have made it. This lesson is important because God is calling us to take our faith out for a walk. Somebody's waiting for you, beloved, to take your faith for a walk. You don't know, beloved, how important you are.
His chosen ones in this room, his ministers, his pastors, his
What you're going through
not just on
is to grow something in you.
faces.
It's all intentional.
Like the
One of the biggest faith blocks he's growing is dependency. He don't want you to depend on anybody to be your peace. He don't want you to depend on this person or that person doing this to bring your joy back. He says, I'm your joy. He doesn't want you to change your job for you to get your strength back. He says, I'm your strength. I'm your peace. And in order for you to really know that, I got to keep you right here so that you can learn this lesson. Because you're going to be the cheat code for somebody that don't have the faith for it. You're going to be the cheat code for somebody that is potentially contemplating on ending their life. He's sending you into spaces. Someone is waiting for you. Somebody is waiting for you to take your faith out for a walk and say something. You don't know how important you are. And today God wants to remind you to take your faith out for a walk. That is, you can no longer stay quiet in these spaces. You can no longer sit quiet and not say anything. Because even in the group of 50, he said there's someone waiting for you to take your faith for a walk and say something different. You have a family member that's waiting for you. Not to blend in, to keep everybody comfortable, environmentally comfortable, socially comfortable. Somebody's waiting for a sound of faith. For you to take your faith out for a walk and say something. And beloved, you'd be surprised. Somebody's going to say, man, if you didn't say something, I would have did something different. Today, this lesson is to highlight how important you are. And that where you are, you're on mission. You're on assignment. Make no mistake. There is not one point of time that we're not under construction. We are all under construction. We are all under construction. While God is constructing us and working stuff out in us, he said, that thing that I already did for you, the thing that I already made stable, I need you to talk about that to somebody. I need you to start being more light, more salt. Someone is waiting for you. And God is saying, will you commit? Will you commit? Will you say, God, I trust you with my life. I trust you. I trust you. I don't know the outcome. I don't know the science. I don't have words. I don't have the right gimmick. I don't have the right gesture to change this. But whatever you're telling me to do, I'll do it. God, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you so that my family can be saved. so that my friends can be saved, so that my environment can be changed. I know a brother, man, that every person that you would put him with, I would move this person this section. I seen him move from this section, this department, move from this person, spend a season with this person, spend a season with that person, spend a season in this section. And I watch people change around them. Not just because they were in a space, is because he was there. I've seen this in action. It's because he took his faith out for a walk. And every day around them, when he would take his faith for a walk, it brought transformation. God is saying, if you just take your faith out for a walk, and opportunities around them, he said, every opportunity you get, take it out for a walk. Every opportunity. Don't just be socially quiet just for quiet's sake. He said, no, man, take that thing out for a walk. He said, lean into it. And when you lean into it, trust God with the results. And I watched this person change a whole section. God is saying, I'm still changing minds. I'm still changing. He said, I am the change maker. He said, but I need you in your space, in your family, to begin to do something. If you say, God, I hear your word. If you're saying, God, I receive it, just put your hands up and say, God, I receive this. And God, use me. Use me in my family. Use me in my home. God, whatever, I might be ignored. God, I might be ridiculed. God, I might be treated bad as a result of me leaning in. But God, I give it to you. I'm going to lean all the way in. I take the hit. I would take the hit, God, so that you can do the transformation. Whatever I go through as a result of me leaning in, God, I would take the hit so that the gospel can be clearly delivered. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. God, give them oil. Give them oil for their spaces. Give them oil for their homes. Give them oil for their relationships. God, give them the anointing that they need, God, to make the change in their environment. God, use them. Let them be the vessel that's used to change the environment that you got them ordered in, God. Let us all, God, give us all oil today for our spaces, for our families, in Jesus' name. Glory, God. Glory, God. Glory, God. God, you're passing out oil. You're passing out oil today, God. You're passing out oil. Change the situation. You have no idea how important you are. And he's about to send you out. You have no idea what this word is about to do to your life. This because you heard this changes everything. This changes everything. This word changes everything. They have no idea what environment you're about to shake up because you're there. And God is about to get behind that. God is about to get behind that. He says, you know enough. You have enough. You have enough. You have enough. God, touch their hearts and grow and touch and get behind everything they have. In Jesus' name I pray. God bless you today. Thank you, Jesus. God bless you today. Come on, spend time with him.